quick tour of the garden. Can you believe I have tomatoes in August, still producing fruit and not trying to die, and they are at least 7 or 8 feet tall. And get a load of my trellising. It's quite funny actually. It's an old crib platform and some cedar limbs that I trimmed off and propped inside there. My echinacea is doing really well. Got basil here, lemon balm and German thyme here, and cucumbers growing all the way down. Some of the guys are blushing. I just harvested the ripe ones because we're supposed to get a storm. And this watermelon vine, my grandson planted one seed just to see what would happen. So we have got a couple of pretty good sized watermelons on it. A pepper tree, or pepper. And I've got my mint over here. And I've got 3 different kinds of beans growing. Got another watermelon vine growing up through my trellis. And those beauties are purple asparagus beans or yard-long beans. And they have grown all up my arch. My one little wind chime, but it doesn't ring worth anything. Just kind of makes a clinking noise. And then these 2 raised beds on either side have ancho peppers, jalapenos, sunflower back there, more beans in pots in the very back, and a whole bunch of seeds coming up right here, but they're too little to see really. And that's sage there in the corner, and I've got some peas coming up, more tomatoes. I went a little overboard on tomatoes this year, just a touch. As you can see, here's more tomato. And this guy over here, this is really cool. This is a kind of radish, and that long skinny purple thing is the part that you actually eat. All the little blue stones in there glow in the dark. Got some basil and one of Mom's bunnies. And this is red Malabar spinach that has yet to get very big. It's been in there for ages, but it's just going very slowly. And then we've got this pretty little sunflower here. Which is kind of a dwarf because I guess it just didn't have enough room. I planted 3 of them kind of all together. And none of them are getting very big. The basil may be taking up too much nutrients for them on this side. And I've got zinnias and cosmos and flowers kind of sprinkled throughout here. A little bit of nasturtium if it'll ever do anything, which it hasn't so far. I'm letting the basil over here go to seed for the pollinators, and so that I'll have more basil next year. Another tomato plant. These cherry tomatoes here I'm excited about. They're seeming to just be going like gangbusters all of a sudden. And I transplanted them after they had fruit on them. So I'm kind of surprised they didn't die, but they did not die. I was trying to find you some fruit so you could see. Oh, there's one. They're blooming like crazy. And this is my little garden gnome with his head sticking up through the dirt. I've got little things that are just interesting, kind of scattered throughout. And there's one watermelon. This is just the good old kind that Granddaddy always grew. We had a little bit of a storm earlier and my tomatoes just all fell over, so I had to come out here and tie them up in the rain. And there's another one of Mom's bunnies. Another big watermelon. And another bunny. And then over here we have the seed nursery thing that James built, which is also really good in the wintertime and in the cooler parts of the year because we use it for salad greens. And that right there at the very beginning of the thing is a purple Chinese purple radish, I want to say, Chinese or Japanese one. These are all spaghetti squashes. And I've got collards coming up right here. You can't see them, but I've got red cabbage over there. And I've got some carrots over here, which were kind of another accident. I didn't expect them to grow, but I put them out here anyway. And they did. And then I've got beets started in the other garden, and then there's some beets coming up there that I planted from seeds. And then I've got 2 more rows of beets right here, but they haven't come up yet. So that's about it, except for the flowers. We have plenty of those, so they should be bringing in the pollinators. Got this lantana that's trying to take over the universe. It just keeps going. I need to cut it back. And then amongst here I've got parsley and rosemary and lavender. And I've got a rose bush back there. And let's see, my little, if you can see it back in the crook back there, there's a little waterfall thing. That kind of keeps me happy. And that is about it. And this huge jasmine that's trying to finally establish itself and climb everything like I wanted. And then I'm even using my bird bath as a place to keep plants watered right now. And I've got a very tall rose bush that I need to get trellised, but that's kind of on the last of the things to do these days because I've been trying so hard to get the food production going. But anyway, I hope you're doing well, and I will talk to you soon. I love you. Thanks for sharing the garden with me.